You know it's getting real when Todd Monken steps up to the podium and starts firing back. The Ravens offensive coordinator wasn't just answering questions, he was making a statement. And that statement was crystal clear. He's done with the slander, the memes, the constant nitpicking around Daniel Faalele. And whether you agree or not, you had to feel the fire in his voice. Let's rewind. We're in the thick of preseason, inching closer to real football. The Ravens are gearing up for their second preseason clash, this time against the Cowboys. Most teams are just starting to fine-tune, figure out who's in and who's out. But in Baltimore, the headlines just keep dropping, and it's not about who's fighting for a roster spot. It's about who's already earned it and who's getting torched unfairly despite that. Enter Daniel Faalele, the right guard, the guy everyone's been piling on after a rough showing against the Colts. It wasn't just bad. It was viral. That one clip where he gets bulldozed, it's been passed around like popcorn on game day. And then there's the stat from PFF, a flat 0 pass blocking grade. Not bad, not subpar, 0. If you're a Ravens fan scrolling Twitter, you've seen it. If you're not, someone probably sent it to you anyway. That's how loud that rep was. But here's the twist. Todd Monken wasn't having any of it. He hit back hard. Standing in front of reporters after the walkthrough practice, he lit a fuse. "I'm so proud of Daniel," he said, not just brushing off the criticism, but walking straight into the fire. He worked hard in the offseason and came into camp in great shape. He's a really, really good football player. Now coaches defend their guys all the time. That's nothing new. But this wasn't just a pat on the back. This was a line in the sand. Monken wasn't shy about calling out the internet either. He compared the viral reaction to someone walking into a church and being called a great Christian just for showing up. One clip doesn't define a player, he said. One bad rep doesn't erase a month of progress. And while that might sound like coach speak to some, Monken's delivery didn't feel like fluff. It felt personal, like he was speaking for every player who's ever had one bad moment turned into their whole identity. And look, the internet is brutal. It moves fast and it doesn't care about context. But the Ravens? They do. And from everything we've seen, they're all in on Daniel Faalele. No guard competition, no mystery, no battle. That spot is his. Whether fans agree or not, Monken's comments shut that door, sealed it, and threw away the key. But let's not sugarcoat things here. Fans are frustrated for a reason. That rep against the Colts, it wasn't some isolated incident for a lot of people watching. Sure, it's the loudest play. Sure, it's the one everyone's talking about. But dig deeper into that game, and you'll see it wasn't just one bad snap. Faalele struggled. 4 out of 5 passing reps. Losses. And it wasn't just one analyst saying that. Multiple trusted voices had the same read. He looked outmatched again. And here's the thing. Nobody is rooting against Daniel Faalele. Nobody's hoping he fails. In fact, most fans are desperate for him to succeed, because if he figures it out, this offense goes to another level. Lamar Jackson gets better protection, Derrick Henry gets cleaner lanes, the unit becomes more complete. It all works better if Faalele works, but that doesn't erase what we've seen so far. The concerns are real. Now, Monken was asked again about all the outside noise, about the online takes, the Twitter threads, the Reddit breakdowns. He didn't back down, said he doesn't respond to that stuff, called it silly, and I'm paraphrasing generously. "One example of something doesn't define you," he said. And yeah, that's fair. We've all had our bad days. We've all messed up at work. But the problem is, this job, playing offensive line in the NFL, is one where your worst play can cost your team a win. And in the Ravens' case, a seed, a home playoff game, a shot at the Lombardi. That's the razor's edge Faalele's walking. His ceiling might be there, sure. He's gotten slimmer. The Ravens love his work ethic. The coaching staff sees something, but the scheme, it might not fit him. Baltimore's offense under Monken demands mobility from its guards. You've got to pull. You've got to climb to the second level. You've got to get to your spot before that defender can shoot the gap. And that's where Faalele's issues have shown up over and over again. Last season, he struggled with just that. Missed blocks, late pulls, and when he lost, it was loud. His losses weren't quiet little slip-ups. They were game-changing moments. And let's be honest, Lamar Jackson saved his skin more than once. Because Lamar isn't just a quarterback. He's a magician. He can erase pressure with one step. He can make the offensive line look a whole lot better than it actually is. But what happens when it's not Lamar back there? What happens when it's Cooper Rush or Devin Leary or any other QB who doesn't have that Houdini trait? We saw the answer in the preseason. Those same breakdowns that Lamar can cover up, they become glaring problems for everyone else. It's a reminder of just how important Lamar is to this team and how shaky things can look when he's not masking the flaws. And again, this isn't to tear down Faalele. He's improved. He's clearly put in work. He looks better than he did last year. But the NFL doesn't hand out gold stars for effort. It's a league built on production and risk management. And right now, the Ravens are taking a huge risk with Faalele locked in as the starter, because you're talking about a $250 million quarterback who's expected to lead this team to a Super Bowl. And you're putting him behind someone who still hasn't proven he can handle the job. It's a gamble. A dangerous one. And while Monken might be willing to bet on Daniel's upside, fans are looking at the downside. And that downside is brutal. One blown stunt, one missed block, one delayed reaction. And suddenly your season changes. Lamar takes a hit he shouldn't. A turnover that didn't have to happen. A game swings. A seed flips. We've seen it before. These are the margins in the NFL. So yes, Monken's right to defend his guy. That's what a coach should do. You build up your players. You give them confidence. But that doesn't mean the questions disappear. That doesn't mean the concerns are gone. They're just waiting like the Cowboys' defensive front for the next test. And look, we all want to be wrong about this. Every single fan who sounded the alarm would love nothing more than for Daniel Faalele to turn into a rock-solid starter, to have a redemption arc that ends in February with confetti falling and Lamar hoisting the trophy. Nobody's rooting for failure here. But you can't ignore what's on the tape. And the tape says Faalele still has a long way to go. The best case scenario, he takes that next step. He proves the haters wrong. He dominates in preseason week 2. He holds up when the regular season kicks off. He becomes the player the Ravens believe he is. But the worst case, we already saw. Week 1 of last season, week 2. Those early losses that came down to protection breakdowns, loud ones that even Lamar couldn't save them from. And that's where this gets tricky, because Monken isn't wrong when he says players shouldn't be judged by one moment. But sometimes in this league, one moment is all it takes. One missed block, one QB hit, one play that swings a season. That's the tightrope Faalele and the Ravens are walking right now. And it's not like Baltimore has no other options. There were other ways they could have handled this. Brought in a vet, opened up the competition, created some urgency in the room. But they didn't. They handed the keys to Daniel, and now they've got to live with that decision. Good or bad? So as we head into week 2 of the preseason, all eyes are on number 77, because the Ravens are betting big on a player the rest of the league isn't quite sold on yet. And if that bet pays off, Todd Monken's going to look like a genius. But if it doesn't, if those loud losses keep piling up, it won't just be a bad rep on Twitter. It'll be the kind of thing that defines a season. And we're not talking hypotheticals here. We've seen how this story plays out. You lose a key game because of one breakdown. You miss home field. You end up traveling in January instead of hosting. And suddenly your Super Bowl window feels a lot smaller than it did a few weeks before. Sound familiar? It should. So while the internet might be roasting Faalele, Todd Monken is doubling down. He believes. The staff believes. Now it's up to Daniel to show the rest of the football world they're right. Because the next rep is always coming. And the next viral moment, that could swing the narrative again, one way or the other. Let's shift gears, because while Daniel Faalele might be sparking heated debates across the fan base, there's another Raven who's doing the exact opposite. A guy who's flipping heads, not just in Baltimore, but across the entire league. His name is Mike Green, and if you're not already paying attention, you better start. We're talking about a rookie who doesn't look like a rookie, a second-round pick who's already playing like a seasoned pro. And yes, it's early. It's preseason. No one's handing out trophies in August. But if you've watched what Mike Green's put on tape so far, you know exactly what's coming. The bend, the speed, the technique, the motor. This dude doesn't just flash. He dominates. And it's not just the fans who are noticing. One of the most respected voices in the game, Brian Baldinger, couldn't help himself. He broke down Green's tape after that preseason win over the Colts and had nothing but praise. You could hear the excitement in Baldy's voice. He talked about Green's fearlessness, the way he threw every pass rush move in his bag onto the field like it was week 17 and the playoffs were on the line. Spin, rip, speed to power, cross chop, the full toolkit. No hesitation. That's what stood out most. It wasn't just that Mike Green looked good, it was that he looked confident, like he belonged, like he knew exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to finish the job. And that's rare for a rookie, really rare. Then Baldinger took it a step further. He went on NFL Network and flat out said it. The best team he saw in preseason week 1. Baltimore, and the guy who stole the show. Mike Green. That's not a small endorsement. That's not just hype. That's a former offensive lineman who knows the trenches inside and out, telling the world that this rookie pass rusher is the real deal. And here's the thing, it's not just the pass rushing moves that pop, it's the way he moves in space. The way he bends around the edge like his knees are on hinges. There was that one photo, but you know the one, from training camp, where he's literally mid-rush, his ankle nearly parallel to the ground, his body almost horizontal as he turns the corner. It looks like something out of a video game. Like, he's floating. Like gravity doesn't apply. That kind of flexibility, that kind of bend, that's rare. That's elite. That's Von Miller type stuff. And again, we're not crowning him just yet. It's early. But if you're watching closely, the signs are all there. This is a guy who's not just talented, he's NFL ready. He's prepared. He knows who he is and what he brings. Now, what makes this even more exciting is the context. Because Baltimore has been looking for a dominant edge rusher for a while. They've had some good ones. Matt Judon, Zadarius Smith, Pernell McPhee, guys who've produced, guys who've earned big contracts. But a true game wrecker? A consistent top-tier edge threat who can take over games. That's been missing since Terrell Suggs. And suddenly, it looks like they might have found that guy in Mike Green. It's still early, yes, but the traits are undeniable. The production is coming. And the Ravens coaching staff, they know it too. Which brings us to Chuck Smith, Baltimore's new pass rush specialist. This dude's been a game changer for the Ravens already. He's not just a coach, he's a technician, a former pro who's trained some of the best in the business. And now he's working directly with Green. That combination, Green's natural talent plus Smith's elite teaching, is a perfect storm. And don't just take it from us. Baldinger said the same thing. He brought up Chuck Smith by name when talking about Green. That's not a coincidence. Because when you see a rookie coming in with this kind of polish, this kind of confidence, it's not just instinct. It's preparation. It's coaching. And the Ravens have one of the best in the business guiding him. What's crazy is that Green didn't even face starting linemen against the Colts. That's important to remember. He wasn't going up against all pros, but still, it wasn't about who he beat. It was how he did it, the consistency, the motor, the plan. That's what great pass rushers do. They come in with a plan and they finish. And if we're looking ahead, let's talk numbers on true pass sets, not play action, not quick throws, just straight up dropbacks. Mike Green had a pass rush win rate of 50%. Let that sink in. That's absurd. That's superstar level efficiency. For context, top tier veterans sit in the 20s. Some of the best edge guys in the game are hovering around 25 to 30%. This guy, in his very first NFL action, was at 50. That's not just good. That's scary. Now imagine what he can do with more reps. With more time under Chuck Smith, with better understanding of his scheme, with more chances to unleash everything he's got. The big question is, how much will he play early on? Because let's be real, the Ravens do love their vets. They've got Kyle Van Noy, Odafe Owe, Tavius Robinson. They've got rotational depth. But talent wins. Eventually, talent always wins. And with Mike Green, it might not take long before the coaching staff has no choice but to give him more snaps. Right now, you can bet he'll get a heavy dose on passing downs. Third and longs, obvious pass situations, that's where he'll make his impact first. But long term, he's built to be a 3-down player. He can stop the run. He can set the edge. He can do everything you ask of him. That's why he's so exciting, because he's not just a specialist. He's a complete player in the making, and honestly, he might be ahead of schedule, because the Ravens aren't just hoping Green becomes the guy, they're building as if he already is. You don't spend a second-round pick on someone like him unless you expect real production early. Not in Baltimore. Not with this coaching staff. They've got championship aspirations. And Green is already a part of that equation. And the best part? He's on a rookie contract. That's massive because with Lamar's cap hit climbing, with extensions due for other stars, finding elite production on rookie deals is how you build sustainable winners. That's how you stay relevant year after year. And Mike Green could be that guy. Not just this season, but for the next 4 or 5, maybe even beyond. Imagine this defense with a true edge presence like him developing into a star. It changes everything. It helps the secondary. It helps Roquan Smith and the linebackers. It helps your coverage, your pressure rate, your turnover creation. It elevates the entire unit. And let's not forget, in the Ravens' defense last year, it was good, really good. But where did they struggle? Consistency in pressure. The sack numbers were fine, but the consistent pressure, the kind that forces quarterbacks into mistakes, it wasn't always there. And that's what Mike Green brings. Pressure that matters, pressure that finishes, pressure that changes games. So now the challenge is clear. Get him on the field because talent like this doesn't sit for long. Not when you're watching it every day in camp. Not when you're breaking down film and seeing him win rep after rep. The clock is already ticking. The Mike Green era is coming. And it might hit sooner than anyone expected. And it's not just Mike Green. This entire edge room is starting to buzz. From top to bottom, there's a real sense of competition. Oweh looks like he's taking a step. David Ojabo is fighting like his roster spot depends on it. And it might. Tavius Robinson has flashed. Even Adisa Isaac is making noise. You got a logjam of talent, and that's a good problem to have. It keeps everyone hungry. It keeps everyone sharp. But make no mistake, Mike Green is the centerpiece. He's the one with the superstar traits. He's the one with the rare bend, the elite first step, the diverse moveset. He's the one who can be a game changer. And when guys like Brian Baldinger are calling him out as the best pass rusher they saw in week 1, you know it's not just smoke. So here's the bottom line. If you're a Ravens fan, you should be hyped. Because you might be watching the birth of something special. Not in the regular season, not in January, but right now. In these quiet August days when most of the league isn't paying attention, that's when the stars start to rise. And Mike Green, he's rising fast. Keep your eyes on number 52. Because every rep he takes is another step toward becoming the next great Ravens pass rusher. And if the trend continues, this defense might be in for a dominant season, with a rookie leading the charge off the edge. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support keeps us bringing you the latest news on the Baltimore Ravens. And hey, drop your take in the comments below. We want to hear from the flock. The sports world was left in disbelief late Tuesday night after whispers began circulating that the Baltimore Ravens were on the verge of pulling off one of the most audacious moves in recent NFL memory. According to sources close to several league insiders, the Ravens are preparing a blockbuster trade to acquire AMON-RA St. Brown, the German-American wide receiver who has become the heart and soul of the Detroit Lions offense. Though no official statement has yet been made by either franchise, multiple anonymous voices within team circles claim the discussions have been intense and shockingly advanced, with Baltimore allegedly willing to offer a package of high draft picks and a prominent defensive player to seal the deal. The rumor has rippled through social media, sparking heated debates among fans and analysts alike, many of whom are questioning why Detroit would even consider parting ways with one of the league's most productive and charismatic receivers. St. Brown, born to a German mother and raised in Southern California, has steadily built a reputation not only as a reliable pass catcher, but as an emotional leader in the Lions locker room. The idea of him suiting up in Ravens purple feels almost unthinkable, yet the whispers grow louder by the hour. Behind closed doors, speculation suggests the Ravens have been quietly pursuing St. Brown for months, emboldened by their belief that his precise route running and relentless work ethic are tailor-made for their evolving offensive scheme. Baltimore, often criticized in recent years for lacking consistent firepower in the passing game, appears determined to complement quarterback Lamar Jackson with a true elite receiver who can dominate short, intermediate, and deep routes alike. Insiders say the team's front office, led by general manager Eric DeCosta, has been laser focused on making a statement acquisition before the season's midpoint. The choice of St. Brown, while shocking to outsiders, fits perfectly with the Ravens' emerging identity as a franchise willing to take risks in pursuit of a championship. On the other hand, the Lions' willingness to even entertain the possibility raises eyebrows. Detroit is currently riding high in the NFC, fueled in large part by St. Brown's chemistry with quarterback Jared Goff. Trading him now would send a complex message to the fan base, one that could be interpreted as either a shrewd long-term strategy or a baffling step backward. As of now, no official paperwork has been filed, but the very notion has already shifted the NFL rumor mill into overdrive. For Ravens supporters, the idea of AMON-RA St. Brown catching passes from Lamar Jackson is intoxicating. Fans are imagining explosive downfield plays, third down conversions turned into game-breaking runs, and a new era in Baltimore's offensive history. The Ravens have historically built their brand on defensive dominance and ground-heavy attacks, but in recent seasons, the pressure to evolve has grown. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken's playbook is said to be primed for a versatile, high IQ receiver like St. Brown, who not only possesses elite hands, but also thrives in finding soft spots in coverage. Analysts point out that his presence could open up the field for tight end Mark Andrews and fellow wideout Zay Flowers, forcing defenses into impossible matchups. Still, the cost of acquiring such a talent could be steep. Rumored to include a first-round pick, a mid-round pick, and a proven starter from the Ravens' defensive core. This has fueled debates over whether Baltimore should risk disrupting their defensive stability for offensive fireworks. Yet, if the Ravens' goal is to dethrone heavyweights like the Chiefs and Bills, some believe this is exactly the kind of aggressive gamble that could tilt the balance in their favor. The city of Baltimore is buzzing with both hope and apprehension. Meanwhile, in Detroit, the chatter is equally intense but tinged with unease. AMON-RA St. Brown has become more than just a statistical leader. He's the embodiment of the Lions' recent resurgence, a living symbol of grit and determination that resonates deeply with the city's long-suffering fan base. Losing him would not only impact the team's offensive rhythm, but could also fracture the emotional bond that has been carefully rebuilt between players, coaches, and supporters over the past few seasons. Insiders hint that the Lions' front office is weighing the short-term pain of losing their star against the long-term benefits of stockpiling draft capital and fortifying other positions. Some even speculate that Detroit's decision-makers believe St. Brown's value may never be higher, making this the perfect moment to extract maximum return. Yet such a move would require ironclad confidence in the team's ability to replace his production and leadership, a tall order for any franchise. As negotiations reportedly inch forward, Lions fans are flooding local sports radio and social media, voicing everything from outright outrage to cautious curiosity. No matter how one interprets the potential trade, it's clear that this rumor has already tested the emotional resilience of the Motor City faithful. As both camps continue to deny, dodge, or downplay the reports, the NFL landscape waits with bated breath. This isn't just about a talented player switching teams, it's about the potential reshaping of two franchises with championship ambitions. For the Ravens, landing AMON-RA St. Brown would send a clear signal that they are willing to do whatever it takes to maximize Lamar Jackson's prime years. For the Lions, letting go of their offensive centerpiece could be a strategic masterstroke or a decision that haunts them for years to come. The timing adds to the drama. Coming during a season where both teams are legitimate contenders, the stakes could not be higher. Every hour without a definitive answer only intensifies the speculation, giving rise to wild theories and insider leaks that may or may not have any grounding in reality. Fans across the league are refreshing their news feeds, hoping for the next breadcrumb of information, while analysts dissect every word uttered by team executives. Until an official announcement is made, or the rumor is finally debunked, the possibility of seeing the German-born star in Ravens colors will remain one of the most tantalizing and polarizing storylines of the year. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay in the loop with exclusive news on our Baltimore Ravens, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what the flock thinks. Drop your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next one.